Well, you're watching The Fix with me, Karima Brown, and hopefully Basic Education Minister Angie Motshekga's line is more secure. Minister, without any further ado, are we ready to open schools tomorrow nationwide?
Karim, we are saying we're as ready as could be. There are still some challenges in areas where we were struggling even before the lockdown, your sanitation, your water. So fortunately, the president has now since deployed the army. We're working with the Department of Water and Sanitation to help us deal with those areas. So it really proved to be a very difficult area to sort out, because as we were fixing your sanitation, there was a lockdown. Constructions couldn't work. They only went back on the 1st. So that's one of the most difficult areas. But in other areas, we are as ready as could be. We also had challenges in other areas in the Eastern Cape where your entrepreneurs were blocking the delivery of equipment, and that has since been done through the assistance of the army, police, and also the political leadership. So we have some areas which are still snag areas, but in the main, the system is ready. So we just have to address those difficult areas.
If you could give us a ballpark figure, Minister, how many schools are opening tomorrow nationally and how many will remain closed?
I can give you percentages, Karima, not the exact number. That's what we're reconciling, because in some instances, provinces are trying to combine schools, say, for instance, in Mpumalanga, where they have boarding schools which were not fully occupied, so they will then be sending kids there. But up to now, Department of Water and the Army are still trying to sort out the water issues. So if by Monday we find that some of the schools that we still have not been able to reach, especially around sanitation, we'll temporarily house them elsewhere. So even if we don't open all the schools, but all the children should be able to start learning and teaching this week.
Minister, the percentages, please. What is the percentage of schools that will be open and what is the percentage of schools that will be closed?
You know, Karim, I'm not running. We are saying almost 99. It depends on the province. As I said, Eastern
Minister, the percentages, please. You said to me you couldn't give me numbers. Give me a percentage.
I can say, let's say 96%. I'm trying to explain to you because other provinces are 100%. So it don't give you a good picture. So if you average nationally, to give you 96%.
So Minister, just hold on. Minister, just hold on for me. You're saying if we average the national readiness, you will say that 96% of schools nationally are ready. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so we talk.
What I was trying to explain without deflecting, it was to say that 96% will mislead you, because other provinces are 100%, other provinces are at 60%. But if you average them all, then you have a figure that doesn't give you the correct figure in terms of readiness province by province.
Okay, so let's do that, Minister. Let's go province by province. Let's start here in Gauteng. How many schools or what percentage of schools in Gauteng will be opening tomorrow?
They're 99% ready.
99%. Let's go to the Western Cape, Minister. What percentage of schools will open there?
And when I say 99, I'm being conservative. There will be 100% ready, but just to be safe, I'm saying 99% ready.
Okay, the Western Cape, Minister?
99% ready.
The Western Cape, 99% ready. Now, the reason why I'm asking about the Western Cape is obviously because it's the epicenter. We've had 32 schools. That is by Friday. There could be more where there have been incidences of people testing positive, staff and teachers. So how do you get to that 99%, Minister? And more importantly, just let me finish. Where are those? Where is the 1%? Is it township schools? Is it no-fee schools? Where are the schools not going to be opening in the epicenter of the COVID pandemic in the country?
For instance, when I say they were 100% ready, because of the ongoing challenges where we have to close other schools because the infections, then the percentage goes down. That's why I said 99% is a conservative figure, because by last week they were 100%, but because of the fact that we've had to close some schools for some days, it goes down from 100 to about 98%. And
okay, so that is the Western Cape.
As I say, sitting here,
So, Minister, you say
That's the Western Cape,
98% in the Western Cape is ready. If you are to tell me how many schools in the Western Cape is going to be closed tomorrow as a result of COVID-19 infections, what would that figure be?
No. Oh, let me go back, Karen. Western Cape was 100% ready last week. This week, because we've had to close about 2 schools, they've gone down from 100 to about 98.
So are you saying that those 32 schools, Minister, where there have been outbreaks in the Western Cape, that some of those schools are actually going to be opening tomorrow? Is that what you're saying?
Western Cape had opened. They were opened. They're going to be closed. They had opened.
So how many schools have been affected by COVID-19 in the Western Cape and are not opening tomorrow, Minister?
No, I don't have the exact. So, Karim, if you wanted, that's why I'd ask you to give me the questions.
Minister, you know we can't give you questions because that will interfere with our editorial independence.
Because I don't keep all the figures in my head.
Minister, just answer the question. Can you give me the amount of schools in the Western Cape that will not be opening tomorrow as a result of teachers or staff being infected with COVID-19?
I said I can give you averages, I'll give you percentages. If you want me to say 35, whereas than 33, then there's a problem. So if you want a specific answer, you are supposed to give me a specific question for me to go and do my homework and calculate that due to the fact that some schools, because this is a moving time, because some schools have had to close maybe Friday, Thursday, where are we?
Minister, I'm trying to understand your decision making.
That's fumigation, they go back. Some schools may be closed on Friday, so it's a moving target, so it's not figures.
Minister, I get the fact that it's a moving target.
The decision making is informed by health. The health says if there's anyone who's tested positive, who's interacted with people in the school has to close for 2 days.
Minister, it's precisely because it's a moving target that I'm asking you to give me the schools, because in my mind, we have a national disaster system in the country. It's broken down into districts. You have at your fingertips the amount of schools that are open. You're getting information where people are being infected. So it shouldn't be hard for you to give me the amount of schools in a place like the Western Cape where the disease is in its peak, where it's the epicenter, to tell me how many schools are closed. Surely that is not difficult to do, because our data system is designed to give you that information via the national disaster system. Minister Motshekga?
No, it is because schools are run by province. I get reports from provinces, and as and when I ask them. So it depends what information I would have requested from them that they will fetch me them. So they will give me maybe figures by Wednesday to say we've had to close 3 schools. Maybe they have not given me by Friday. What I don't want to do is to really say I know every detail of every province at every hour. So what you need to do, if you want a specific information, which I had asked for, then I would have gone back to verify information to say, by Sunday, where do we stand? But now if you want me to say 35, I could say 35, maybe it's 32, maybe it has gone to 40.
Okay, so the bottom line is, Minister, you can't tell me.
So I don't have that specific detail.
Okay, that's okay, Minister. Let's go to the question around what will happen to parents and teachers who won't pitch tomorrow because they don't feel that the schools are safe. When you were on the campaign to get schools ready, you made a statement. You said there are many young teachers who are qualified and who are trained who are waiting to come into the systems. Many people felt that that was very threatening of you, suggesting that you will very quickly replace teachers who are worried that they don't necessarily have PPE. Just factually and formally, what is the decision of the department if teachers don't go to school tomorrow because they're not having the PPE and the necessary equipment? What will happen to them if they don't pitch?
No, it was unfortunate if I came through that way. I'm not sure. that was the intention of the answer. And I really said, if that's how it came through, it's unfortunate. In terms of teachers, and we've agreed also with teacher unions, if PPEs have not arrived at schools, they should not pitch up. We're also saying it's because the condition around which we were allowed to open schools was that safety is going to be a priority. And those PPEs are part of safety. So there is no way we can victimize teachers. We don't turn up for work because there are no PPEs, because then we are the ones who are killed, so we can't victimize them for that. So they will have to wait until such time that PPEs are there. And they won't be replaced because we have failed to take PPEs. As I say, if that's how it sounded, it's very unfortunate because that was not meant to be like that. I thought I was answering when they were saying with the new distancing and the new environment, there's going to be a need for more teachers. And I said, we're fortunate that there is a number of teachers who are looking for jobs, and we think we'll be able to replace or even to replenish our shortages. And if there are teachers who have comorbidities and are not able to take up jobs, we will use our replacement teachers. But not to say if you can't turn up when we have failed to take PPEs, we'll replace you overnight. I think it's really unfortunate. It was not meant to come through that way.
All right, Minister, that should be very reassuring for educators. Let's go to the parents of children who feel that they are not ready to send their children to school. There's a campaign to keep children out of school because they're not necessarily ready and not convinced that the places are in fact safe. Do those parents face penalties? Will they be arrested? What exactly does the regulations allow you to do if parents believe that the schools are not safe to send their children to?
Again, Karim, I did say that the anxiety of parents is highly understandable. And that's why we had said first we will encourage them to ready homeschool if they feel that their children can continue. But it has come to light that it will be really burdensome for most parents if if we say they must homeschool, because that in itself has got lots of requirements that they're supposed to follow. So there are two proposals on the table which are going to finalize this week. The other proposal is that they can keep their kids at school, at home, and then follow the curriculum, and every 4 weeks come and bring other assignments and take work from their learners. There's a proposal that's on the table. The other proposal is saying they can stay for as long as they can. They won't be removed from the school's register, because after 10 days, if you don't pitch up, the assumption is that you have left school. So this time, because of the coronavirus, they will not be removed from schools, and their parents will bring them when they think it's safe to do so. And there, as I said, there are 3 proposals on the table which we have sent back to provinces to consider which one is more viable and which one is less burdensome to the school and the parents. And we should make a concrete announcement by end of the week, because we also have to consult with schools if they will be able to manage other additional responsibility if we give them. If we give them the 14 days week where parents collect, will schools be able to cope with running parallel systems? The other one, if they come after 14 days, will kids not be remaining behind? So there are proposals, and we've committed ourselves that within a week we should be able to pronounce finally what should those parents do.
Okay, Minister, just quickly, in the no-fee schools, how many schools do you have where parents are in fact able to homeschool? Because obviously those are your poorer quintiles, and the issue around access to data, access to resources is a very big thing. I mean, homeschooling for most poor kids is simply not an option, Minister.
That's why, Karim, I'm saying there are 2 options on the table. There's an option which says parents can keep their children at home, give them what will be taught in the next 2 weeks, then they have to monitor and supervise them and bring work. It's to accommodate where you can't homeschool. That's why there's that proposal on the table. But we have to then talk to principals to really iron out what are the implications for the school to run a parallel system where they have to support parents who are keeping their children at school, who are being supported by families, even through, because if you take the decision not to bring them at school, then it means you also have to take some responsibility of making sure that those kids learn. So that option of 14 days collection of material is not based on the data. And that's why I'm saying we've considered that the homeschooling, even for your affluent parents who are working, may not be an easy option. And that's why there are these two options on the table, and say which one will work better for the schools and for the learners.
Okay, Minister, one of the things, of course, that many people want to know is why you are pushing so hard to save this academic year when the question of saving lives is very important. I'm not going to rehash the medical arguments about how affected children are by the disease. We all know that children don't raise themselves. They often go home to adults who might have comorbidities and who they might put at risk. Just give us your rationale for why, given all the challenges that we have, both socioeconomic, just readiness, and the nature of the disease in places like the Eastern Cape and the Western Cape, why are you pushing that children go back tomorrow? What is it that is the driving factor here?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Minister. Please continue.
Karima?
Yes, I can hear you, Minister.
Yes,
I'm asking what is the main reason why you are pushing so hard for this academic year to continue, despite the fact that we have very obvious real problems to opening schools? Minister Motshekga? Okay, we seem to be having a problem with... Minister, I can hear you now. Just quickly give me your rationale. What exactly is the reason for you pushing so hard?
Yeah, the rationale is that education and school is good for children. That's the best thing that you can give to children. That's the fundamental point about education. It's not about a year, it's not about academic, just education and school is the best thing for children. It gives them a social structure where they wake up in the morning. It really, even for cognitive development, kids must stay at school. In poor communities, schools also help with nutrition. If you go to communities where always go, find kids in food queues, begging so it's just not good for them, even for their self-esteem. For nutritional purposes, for developmental purposes, for safety purposes, but schools and education is good for children. And
all
that's
right,
why
Minister, we've run out of time. That is where we will have to leave it.
For children to make sure that they're at school and do everything in our powers to make sure that they are safe, to make sure that they're not infected, but fundamentally it's because education and school is good for them.
All right, Minister Motshekga, that is where we will leave it. The Minister unable to give us a breakdown there of the figures, saying that it's a moving target. Well, you're going to have to make the decision about whether you think schools are safe, whether you're a teacher or a pupil that has to go to school. A big decision for many families in South Africa. You've had your fix for the week. Join me again next Sunday. Thank you so much for watching.